Hello everyone and welcome back. I've decided to do another budget meal video as it seems to be what a lot of you are enjoying. The meals I make here are typically meals for my family of 4. We eat on a budget most times. I have a few budget meal videos, so if you enjoy this content, I'll make sure that I link the playlist at the end. Soups are always a budget-friendly meal. They are so versatile and easy to make. You can typically go through your fridge and use whatever produce that needs to be eaten up so there's nothing wasted. Today I'm putting together a vegetable and noodle soup. So I've added onions and celery, and these are some carrots that I canned a couple years ago. I had picked up a 50-pound bag of second carrots that are sold for like hunter's carrots or horse carrots, and I got the bag for like $10, and the carrots that I was able to can up lasted forever. So if you're ever looking for a budget friendly thing to do and you can, go look for second vegetables that just aren't pretty enough to go in the stores, and you'll find really good deals. Being able to can has saved us so much money over the years. It is a great skill to have when you're trying to save money. I'll link my canning playlist for anyone that's interested in learning. So to this soup, I'm adding 2 jars of homemade turkey broth. You can also use store broth, but this is what I have, so this is what I am using. Next, I'm adding some home canned white beans. You can use whatever beans you want. Store-bought beans are fine. If you're using dry beans, you may want to soak them and cook them first. To this soup, I'm just adding a little bit of thyme and a little bit of salt. Sometimes spices aren't in the budget, so just a little bit of salt would also be fine. You can do this soup on the stovetop, but I chose to put it in the slow cooker today, and I just put it on slow for about 4 hours until the vegetables were soft. Next, I'm going to do a Mexican-inspired chicken and rice dinner. I picked this package of chicken up on a really good sale for $5 for 3 chicken legs. The pans I have are not quite big enough, so I'm going to spread this out between 2 pans. I'm going to add 2 jars of turkey broth to these, but chicken broth also works. To the broth, I'm adding peppers that we grew in the garden this year and I have frozen. If you have the space, gardening is another thing that can save you a lot of money. It takes some time and it does take some learning to do, but if you're able to put down a few seeds, grow a few plants, you can save a few bucks here and there. Next, I'm just adding 1 chopped onion and I'm splitting it between the 2 pans. I'm adding a homemade taco seasoning to this dish. So right now I'm putting it in some chili powder and then I will be adding some cumin. Again, sometimes spices are not in the budget, so a little bit of salt and pepper would also do the trick. Next, I'm adding 2 cups of rice into the broth, and then I'm just going to stir it in so that it's all under the broth so it cooks evenly. Next, I'm adding in some sweet corn because this is a Mexican-inspired dish. If you had black beans, you could also add those. These are going in the oven at 350 for an hour until the chicken is nicely cooked and the rice has cooked through. As I'm editing this video, I see exactly how dirty my oven door is, so I know what my project later will be. This dish came out wonderfully and the kids absolutely loved it. Next, I'm going to be putting together an enchilada dish. Typically, cooking with beans is the most budget-friendly thing you can cook with. So finding recipes that are fun and your family enjoys is really important. In this dish, I've cut up 1 onion and I'm using some more of those peppers that I have frozen. I'm also using another jar of the white beans that I have canned, but black beans is typically what is used in this dish. The white beans are just what I have on hand. Using the ingredients you have on hand instead of running out to the store to get the ingredients that a recipe calls for means you use up the ingredients you already have in your house without spending more money. To this mixture, I'm just adding in a little bit of chili powder and stirring it around. So I have some small wheat tortillas and I'm just going to put a little bit of the mixture into the tortilla, wrap the tortilla up and put it in my dish. In hindsight, I should have put a little bit of salsa on the bottom of my dish before putting my tortillas in, but I did not do this. So they turned out just fine, but if you're wanting to do it a proper way, I would add in a little bit of salsa on the bottom of your dish. In this dish, I am using salsa and not an enchilada sauce just because I have a lot of salsa on hand that needs to be used up. If you prefer an enchilada sauce, you can absolutely go ahead and either make that or buy that, but this is what I'm using for this dish because it is more budget friendly for me. For this dish, I am using a salsa verde that I had canned up over a year ago. We still have a decent amount of these left, so this is what I'm using in order to use these up. You can use whatever salsa that you and your family enjoy or that you have available to you. So I'm just going to take the salsa and I am going to cover all of the enchiladas and I am going to just kind of stuff it down the side and make sure that everything is coated in the salsa. You can top with cheese if that is in your budget, but cheese is also quite expensive here, so I passed on that today. They went in the oven at 350 for a half an hour. Next up, I am making a chili dish. Chili is also a very versatile dish where you can use a lot of produce that you may have in your fridge that needs to be used up and just plop it in there. I'm starting with cutting up 1 onion, some celery, and getting it all in my crock pot. I've added some mushrooms to our dish because we enjoy mushrooms, but I know a lot of families do not, so it is an item that you do not need to include if you do not enjoy them. Next, I am adding some red kidney beans that I have had canned. Again, if this could call for black beans or use whatever beans that you and your family enjoy, but these are what I have on hand, so they are what I am using in this dish. I am also adding 1 can of sweet corn into the chili. If ground beef is in your budget, you can also add ground beef or ground pork here. If you do not have a budget for ground beef, adding just more beans would be fine. Next, I'm adding 2 jars of home canned tomato sauce. I'm also adding some chili powder. If you have it in the budget to add some brown sugar in here, that would cut the acidity of the tomato sauce. We like to put rice with our chili. It's a little bit of an extra filler, and the kids absolutely love this. Lastly, I am just doing a baked chickpea and rice dish. This is a very easy dish to put together. I am using chickpeas and then 1 can of mixed peas. I thought I had 2 cans of chickpeas, but I did not. So we are going to improvise and use the jar of mixed beans. So I'm going to take the beans now and strain them out and give them a rinse. And then I'm going to go ahead and put them on a baking pan. This is a stoneware pizza dish, but it makes the beans nice and crispy, which my kids enjoy. So this is the dish that I'm going to use. You'll want to spread the beans out evenly and then throw on some salt. I've also used some garlic powder in the past, and that tastes really good. We're going to put them in the oven at 450 for about a half an hour until they're crispy. I'm going to go ahead and prepare some rice now as well to go with it. And for our veggie, we're just going to fry up some cabbage. Cabbage is a really inexpensive vegetable, and when it's fried up with a little bit of oil and a little bit of salt and pepper, it's really delicious. I hope you all have really enjoyed the meals that I've prepared today, and if you're really struggling, please make sure you reach out and hit up your local food bank. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.